Wisdom Exchange TV. My name is Suzanne S. Stevens, host and co-producer of Wisdom Exchange TV. Today we're in Ottawa, Canada, with Her Excellency Florence Zaino Chidea. She is the Ambassador of Zimbabwe in Canada. You have a lot of history. I mean, you've been a civil servant for 20 years, correct?
Yes.
But you have another part to you. There's a lot to you and what got you to this role. I just kind of sort of want to start a little bit with, you were a nurse?
Yes.
Practicing nurse.
Yes.
You also own a tour company.
Yes, I do.
Now, you were saying to me earlier that you own it, but when this is job number one, therefore it'll wait for you someday down the road, and you're the ambassador. What was the catalyst to get into politics in the first place, coming particularly from entrepreneurial and from a nurse? I mean, how did you get here?
As you know, the history of my country, Southern Africa, was very much under apartheid, dualized economies, and so this is how one started. Most of us started like that.
Mm-hmm.
But over and above that, if you had your ambitions, of course, nothing could stop you. And so that's how I ended up undertaking a degree in business management, a postgraduate diploma in public policy, public administration, and that's how I ended up scanning the various ministries in my country, which cumulatively ended up being more than 20 years. So spanning from industry and commerce, transport, foreign affairs, and now we're here.
But you make a comment about your ambitions. Tell me more about those, and when did you have that ambition, particularly in the political arena?
For me, it happened when I was doing my undergraduate studies. I think coming from my country, the way it was set up, it didn't give you very much chance of not wanting to be involved. So one found themselves somehow involved in being interested in politics.
You know, your husband was in politics as well, and actually sat in the chair you are in today.
Yes.
And I would suggest that, you know, there's not a lot of husband and wives that have held that same position as far as an ambassador for our country.
Yes.
Now, did you meet him in the political arena?
I actually met him when we were students in New York, in Buffalo. When we both finished university education, we went home. And at that time, he was an academician. And I was pursuing my professional career. And slowly, yes, we made the transition. I made the transition.
As the ambassador, and therefore a leader,
yes,
what would be one of your biggest challenges, personally or professionally, in this role?
As an ambassador, first of all, it is a big honor for my country to represent my country at this level. But what it is that you direct the activities of your country in a foreign country. And so that in itself is a challenge. And what you're trying to do is to bring two countries together.
In the spirit of lifting those relationships, let's say I am from Zimbabwe and I want to do business in Canada. Could you tell me 3 things that I really need to know about Canadians in order to do culturally, that in order to do business in Canada?
Well, first of all, it depends on the type of business you want to be involved in, because some sectors are specific. Mm-hmm. They have specific requirements. For example, if you're going to have business dealings in food and agricultural products, the requirements are very different from whether you're selling in hardware or whether you're sending chemicals, for example. So they're all different requirements. So one would have to be sector specific.
Let's take it from a culture perspective, though, because culture isn't necessarily sector specific. So even from you've been in Canada for 8 years.
Yes.
I'm guessing, and being to Zimbabwe, I would suggest, I didn't do business in Zimbabwe, but so I would imagine doing business here would be quite different than doing it at home, just from the culture of how we do things in comparison to how you may do them. Not better, not worse, just different.
And there's also the law of reciprocity, especially in diplomacy. So whatever Zimbabwe does to Canada, Canada does to Zimbabwe. And that may not be the same as what Zimbabwe does. For example, dealings have with Rwanda, for example, or any other European country. The relationships are all different. That's why it is bilateral.
If you could sort of give us an idea of some of the challenges for women to get into politics, particularly in the context of the country in which you work.
When you look at politics, it's like a go-get, I think, environment. And so our socialization is such that the go-get attitude is something that we're being encouraged. We're used to community development, come up together, as it were. But when you come up to the tertiary levels, you would find that the numbers of women are not as high as men. And so politics is another one of those fields where women don't readily, well, they contribute a lot. But maybe when it comes to voting for women, I think we still need to come.
You just focused on that I find extremely interesting, is voting for women.
Yes.
It's not only the women stepping up, but it's actually having the confidence to vote for the women to
Yes.
lead.
Yes, exactly. I think we still have big challenges, and we have to encourage each other to how to celebrate women, how to notice the potential in women. And it may be that what someone needs is just a little bit of an edge, just a little bit of an edge. And they can contribute a lot more to what is required. But they need that edge. And we need, as women, to see the potential.
How many women do you know at the percentage or approximation of how many women are in politics in Zimbabwe?
As you know, we just had our elections in July, end of July, and we have a new constitution, we have a new parliament, it's the 8th parliament. And so it's the highest level of women right now in politics, because we were aiming for 50-50, but I think we managed to get 40%.
That high?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you very much.
That's impressive.
Yes.
Maybe someday Canada will follow.
Yes.
So what was it before the election?
Oh, it was less than half that.
Okay.
Yes.
So it was a huge jump.
Yes.
Now why? Do you know why that is?
Well, government made, the SADC protocol by the gender barometer. It has been recommending 50-50. And the AU, the gender barometer, was recommending 30%. So we're over 30%. So in our constitution, I think even for the next 10 years, we have a provision for affirmative seats. And then after that, that will fall away.
Being in Ottawa, I had an opportunity to speak with another ambassador from another African country.
Yes.
And both countries are promoting 50%. A lot of countries strive for 30 because that was a huge deal
Yes.
at one point in time.
Yes.
But to see African countries say we need more representation at the top levels with women, I think is such a huge message to the rest of the world.
Yes. Yes. Well, we have more to do, I believe, in terms of the poverty levels which we have, and the Millennium Development Goal number 3, as you know, is poverty alleviation. And it's not going to happen unless you go for women, along with men, of course, but you need to push more women.
What advice or insight could you give to women that want to enter into politics?
Get in there. Don't stay back. You must lobby, you must participate, you must show your interest. You must show that you are good. You must show that you have what it takes.
It sounds like you're saying not only show it, but make sure people know it.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Yeah.
If you just go out there with everybody, that may not achieve results. But you have to have your own strategy. But it may actually mean designing your own information sheet and having people putting it under the doors. Even now we have the e-commerce, we have the social media. Those are the tools that we have now.
And keeping in mind that our audience is pretty vast that watches Wisdom Exchange TV. So
Yes.
with that, in Zimbabwe, people have access to all those tools.
Yes.
They're not blocked in any
No.
capacity. So they're open to use those tools.
Yes.
And far as from a media perspective, is that open as well, or in Zimbabwe?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so
Oh,
that's
yes.
open as
Yes.
well.
But now, especially for social media, so it's up to you
Mm-hmm.
how you want to strategize your for example, your campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but it can be done.
Well, that's great advice. It's first you have to have the passion.
Yes.
And I guess in your day, when you started pursuing this, there was a lot to be passionate about.
Yes.
Now, are you finding the youth of today? I mean, I know you haven't been there a lot lately, but are they as passionate about their country and where they see it?
Yeah, I think we are in transition. As a young country, we've only been independent for 33 years. So I think we are going through these phases where, first of all, where's your blood and mother coming from? And then, okay, now I have a job. And then, okay, what do my children feed on? And so your career. And so I think it is going in phases. But the youth of today, they have this advantage also of the internet and the social media. They are able really to participate.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and to express themselves. I see that, there is that energy also.
You're talking about, too, that women and what they need to do, and I guess that would apply to men, of course, as well.
Yes.
Have you ever seen certain characteristics that women have that could be used for them or against them in the political arena?
I think because politics really is the survival of the fittest. So that doesn't matter who you are. We have women leaders now who are surviving in this environment. For example, the Angela Merkels of this world, the Thatchers of this world. Those women, they survived, in a very tough environment, but they did it. So I think you do have, even in Canada here, we have 5 premiers, women premiers, which is, I think, a record.
It is.
For now. They're surviving in this environment. And so there's a time when you have to stop thinking that you are a woman. I think you have to have a tough stomach and decide what you are going to have and go for that and develop leadership attributes. If you're a leader, you're always going to see opportunity. So it doesn't matter what sex you are. If you're a leader, you see what is possible.
Great advice. Thank you very, very much.